Buonasera, everybody, and welcome back to the Cucina Quarantena. We've been on a little bit of a hiatus because I've had a lot of other things going on, but I thought it's time to get back to cooking. And actually the kids, Luca, who is filming, maybe, and Nico, they both came up with the idea that what we should do for Cucina Quarantena is to do Iron Chef. Now, a few years ago in our family, we used to divide up the turkey broth on Thanksgiving, and then we'd have a cook-off. Everybody would take the broth and try to come up with the best soup using just the ingredients that they had. And so that was always a fun thing that we did in the past.
I want to do that.
You want to do turkey soup to the cook-off? Okay, we can do that this year. But I always enjoy those kind of challenges because I like to be a creative cook. I don't really cook with recipes, or I take a recipe and I just sort of riff on it. So today I decided to play Iron Chef, and I asked in the Adventures with Sarah travel community, which is sort of the group where you guys can all chat and talk to each other. I just put a note in that group to say, hey, I want to do Iron Chef. Tell me what ingredients I should use, and I'll take the top 3 and make something out of it. So the top 3 vote getters from that post were squash, mushrooms, and lentils. Now, lentils, we're going to make this the base for the recipe. So there are a couple different kinds of lentils. Actually, I have 3 or 4 here in the house, but these are the kinds you get when you go to the regular grocery store. I'm not such a big fan of these because these are great for soup. They turn into basically like a mush. So if you're looking for something that's going to be sort of a mush, these are fine for lentil soup. For something where you're making more like a lentil salad, which is what we're going to do tonight, is a lentil salad, I prefer these French ones called Lentils de Puy. These are so cute. They look like little turtles. I don't know why I always think they look like little turtles, like they could have little legs sprout and go crawling across the floor. And if you ever saw that movie Amelie, these are the lentils that she puts her hands into, because if you put your hands into them, they feel really nice. But these ones, why I like these better than the much bigger standard lentils you get at the grocery store, see the difference? Is that these little lentils de Puy hold their shape and they don't turn into a whole bunch of mush. So that's why I'm going to use these tonight. The other ones you could use that I have are red lentils, but red lentils are tiny but really turn into nothing. So red lentils are great to use as a soup, like a Turkish soup or something like that. But if you want them to hold their shape, this is the way to go. So we're going to start off with a cup of lentils, and this is going to be easily enough for 3 people. It could even be for 4. And this is a salad that is a takeoff on one that I have been making for years from Gourmet Magazine that I just kind of riff on. So lentils in the pot, and these ones you don't have to have an exact measurement for the water, just cover. So I've got 2 cups of water, which is about right. So I'm going to put those on to boil. So this is going to take about 15-20 minutes to make, so just settle in and get comfy because we're going to do some cooking and chatting here. So we'll get that rolling. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get the vegetables to go into the lentils. So we're going to cook them separately. And so I'm going to start off with bacon because everything good starts off with bacon. This is about maybe 7 or 8 slices or so. So I'm just going to kind of roughly chop the bacon. Get a nice sharp knife or something like this. Oh, which reminds me, I know you guys have been asking me to put together a Cucina Quarantena gear store, like a shopping list on Amazon, and I promise I am working on that. I hope to have that ready by Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, I'm going to be launching that as well as my Etsy store. I'm going to relaunch, which I'm going to have a whole bunch of new prints. I'm going to have note cards. I'm going to have face masks. So I promise for Christmas I'm going to have lots of cool stuff. I just have been working on too many different things. So here we go. Now just roughly chopped bacon is fine. Heat up my favorite pan. So a good pan, if you don't have a chef's pan, which I imagine you don't, you can use, if you have a skillet, that's probably the best. Or a saute pan, a large saute pan. All right, so that's thing number 1. We're going to let that start cooking. In the meantime, I'm going to start getting my vegetables prepared. So you guys asked for mushrooms, and you asked for squash, and I just happen to have this cute little baby squash. We grew this. I was a little over ambitious with the number of pumpkins I planted. How many pumpkin plants did I put out there, Luca?
I think it was like, it was a lot. Maybe 5.
Greasy now. From the bacon, I can't grab the pumpkin.
It was like 10, maybe? No, maybe more.
Yeah, it was a lot. So we had tons and tons of little baby pumpkins, which I love because little baby pumpkins are just the right size for using in food. So these are sugar pumpkins. So next season, when you go to plant your own garden, be sure to get these. Now this is an easy way to prepare a pumpkin. I think I've shown you guys before that the way I have prepared a pumpkin using it for pasta sauce and soup is that I roast it. And that's something else you could do in a case like this. You could just have it, stick it in the oven on 400 for about 25 minutes, and that should roast it enough that you could then scoop it out and put it into a saute. But because this is going to be sort of like a warm salad, I thought what I'd rather do with the pumpkin is I'd rather chop it finely and cook it so it's in chunks that are a little bit more toothsome, I guess is the word, a little more al dente and firm. So this is just another way you can go about any squash. You can just grab your peeler before you even cut it. And you gotta have a good sharp peeler. And that's about right. Okay. Lovely. So I love cooking like this, like Iron Chef style, because it's fun. Actually, and I'll show you later what I made last night, because my mom gave me a bunch of chicken, and she told me, this chicken's not very good, so you'll have to do something flavorful that kind of masks the mediocrity of the chicken. And I thought I did something pretty good. What do you think, Luca? How was dinner last night?
Oh, it was really good. It was it was chicken and tomato sauce, and it was really, really nice. It was, yeah.
And I only paid him $50 to say that.
If only I was getting paid for this. Of course, if I was getting paid for this, I'd do a much better job.
You get paid in hugs and kisses.
Yeah.
And that's more valuable than money, isn't it, child?
It is. It is. As a general concept, feelings and emotions should always be take your priority over money. That's your little teenager tip of the day. Wisdom from somebody who's 16 years old.
So how's quarantine treating you, son?
I mean,
we're back down to almost a partial lockdown here in Seattle. So.
It's going. It's pretty much the same.
It's going. A lot of being inside, and actually the weather is really turned here in Seattle. It is brutal out there. Really raining an awful lot, and not just like drizzly, but like stormy weather. It's not normal for us, is it?
No, it's not.
Okay. So this is just a really easy way to go about cleaning and using a pumpkin if you don't want to roast it. And I really do think that when you plant your garden, you just plan to have tons of these tiny little pumpkins because they're such a nice size. Pumpkins are usually way too big. You don't really need that much pumpkin for anything. So, all right. So now I'm just gonna cut this into reasonably small cubes because this is the thing. Well, I guess I'm trying to kind of think about how do I describe the way my methodology is. The way I put recipes together when I'm cooking like this off the cuff is I think about what is the order in which I need to put things into the pan. What are the things that take the longest to cook? What are the things that take the shortest to cook? And what are the things that lose their flavor if they're going to be in the pan for too long? So when I'm ordering this particular dish, I know I need to start with the lentils because they take the longest to cook. And actually the pumpkin could as well take a long time to cook. And that's why I'm cutting it up small. Because if I leave it in big chunks, it's going to take an awful long time to cook. But this is like small little cubes. And I'm just going to toss those in with the bacon. Woo! That is my bacon though. I'm gonna have to drain that off a little bit.
Oh.
Holy guacamole, look at that stuff. Jeez Louise. Alright. And I'm thinking I'll just use the whole pumpkin. I don't need the seeds though. And I'm going to toss that in. Typically I would toss in the onion first, but because these pumpkin pieces are going to take the longest to cook of all the vegetables, I'm going to put them in first. This recipe typically, if I'm making it more the correct way, should have carrot in it and celery. But since we're doing mushrooms and pumpkin, we're changing it up to more of a fall flavor. And that's the fun part about cooking, is doing what you want. Alright. The bacon fat container. We all love the bacon fat container.
Yay, it's World War II and we're in Britain.
What?
Didn't they used to say things like that that you should put all your bacon grease into a container and use it so that you don't have to buy butter in World War II Britain?
Well, we are kind of living the closest thing we're going to get to World War II right now, I think. These are slim times in the travel industry, so. Alright, turn on the fan for just a sec. Alright, and then we're going to put the pumpkin in. This is a Santoku knife, which I really like the feel of. If you don't have a Santoku knife, this is something really enjoyable because it's fast and nice and short. Alright, so. Now, I don't mind the brown bits in there because those brown bits are probably eventually going to cause us to have some nice flavor. So in goes the pumpkin. Alright. Lentils are boiling. Now, I've been undersalting everything lately, and I don't know why. I just have been. So I would wait till the very end to salt this, just because that bacon, every bacon has a different saltiness level. So, okay. I'm using red onions just because, again, it's Iron Chef tonight, and this just happens to be what I found in the bargain basement of the grocery store. So leeks probably would be a little bit nicer flavor. They have a little bit more subtlety to them. But red onions were what was cheap, so we're just using whatever was in the almost rotted produce section at the grocery store. Which, by the way, I would just like to recommend as a budget tip for the Cucina Quarantena, especially for those of us out of work. There is nothing wrong with shopping that way, going to the grocery store and looking in every grocery store, especially if it's a Kroger one, every single one has an end cap where all of they have vegetables that are kind of getting mushy or older, and they sell them really cheap. It's like $1 for a big sack of whatever. And that's a really nice thing to do, is to go, I mean, you're also cutting down on food waste in general by doing that, and it's a great bargain. And then also look in the bargain meat section, because we have had some great things. I bought a huge tube of ground beef for 99 cents last week, like 5 pounds, and brought it home and cooked a whole bunch of stuff right immediately. So if it's something you're just going to cook that day, it's well worth it to start looking in the bargain basement section at the grocery store.
Can you also get like a whole pork shoulder for super cheap, or it was some big cut of pork?
Yeah, the pork shoulder, I like to cook with pork shoulder because it is a really good value meat. It's usually, you can get it sometimes for even 99 cents a pound. And because it's so inexpensive, yeah, it's great. And it's versatile because you can make like the porchetta, you can do pulled pork. We did a pulled pork this past week, so there's lots of choices. All right, so that's pretty simple. Now, Luca.
Yeah?
Team cook, tell me, what are the herbs and or spices that you might put into something like this? So pumpkin, bacon, onion, and mushrooms. What do you think would be the flavors that might go with this?
Okay, salt, olive oil, and I'm feeling thyme.
I'm feeling thyme too. That was a good call. Ding, 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 ding. I would say you win, because thyme is exactly the herb that this seems to be calling for. It needs to be something subtle, but with a nice flavor. And actually, I'm going to put maybe some tarragon in. Typically, this recipe calls for tarragon.
So,
Actually, no, tarragon would be incorrect for this combination of things. I think because it's a fall sort of thing, I'm going to go with thyme. And what do you think about a little pinch of nutmeg?
Nutmeg would be good. The other thing that would be good, but maybe a little bit too summery, would be a dash of lemon. Because it's.
I'm going to put in red wine vinegar.
Red wine vinegar.
So
That's better. That's better.
It's going to need something acidic.
Because this feels very sweet and salty. And the red onion might bring a little bit of sour to the party, but not enough.
You are absolutely correct. Good instincts on that one, son. So after we've got all these vegetables cooked, then I am going to do exactly what you said and add something acidic, because we are missing an acidic component. So you could do lemon. I think lemon would be a little too bright for this combination.
Yeah.
But it's something you could do.
And also add paprika.
Oh, and you guys come and look at my beautiful spice cabinet.
You can actually look at it now. We organized it.
Yes, my new and improved spice cabinet. It is clean and alphabetized. And Luca and Nico and I made a trip to Market Spice downtown, and we had all of the spices reinvigorated. So I've got everything one could possibly need.
Wait, do we have paprika?
We have multiple kinds of paprika.
Yay!
Pimenton, which is from the Mexican grocery store, which is just regular kind of paprika. Sweet smoked paprika. And then I even, somewhere around here, bought, this one here, I think. I don't know. I bought a hot paprika also.
Isn't that pepperoncino?
No, that's something different. Pepperoncino, that's from Italy, and I love this, actually. I bought this in Italy. Actually, we had this when I was out at the Aeolian Islands, and I went and bought some at the store because it's just the right kind of heat. It's like a really just gentle heat, which is nice. Do you think that this could benefit from some pepperoncino?
I think that we should. I think it would, because
it's a big maybe.
For those, and I'm not sure how many of, I'm not sure if I'm judging the audience right or not, but for those of you who don't know what paprika is, it's literally dried and then ground red peppers or different types of peppers. So what it ends up doing is it adds a really smoky taste because they're smoked, dried, and ground. And so it just adds that smoky flavor that you really just can't get enough of. Like, you can add, I remember once I added like so much paprika to a gravy for biscuits and gravy that I turned the sauce red and it still tasted good.
All right, so that's something good. This is the stuff we love right here. This is called fond. And what I'm going to do, I'm letting that kind of burn on, because then when I'm done with this, I'm going to put in the red wine vinegar, and then I'm going to scrape up all those burnt bits. And that's where we build flavor, is with that fond. Okay. I have absolutely no professional culinary training, but, you don't have to be a fancy pants chef who's learned in a school how to do things. You can teach yourself, or you can have somebody like me teach you. Which, by the way, if you are interested, in January, I'm going to be running cooking classes on Zoom. I'm going to limit it to about 10 to 15 people. We'll see how many people want to sign up. And so there'll be individual attention, and I'm going to have guest chefs come in, and we'll do like 2-hour private cooking classes. I'll send you a recipe book ahead of time, and we'll do one that's probably Thai. We'll do one that's like just sort of a general flavor building skills workshop. So if you're interested in cooking with me on Zoom, where you actually are in your kitchen and I'm in mine and we work together, that's going to be a series in January on Sundays in January. So there's on my website, I just put up information. I'm just selling the series right now for all classes, and then individual classes, once I confirm the guests and all of that, then I will put those up for sale probably in mid-December and sell the classes one by one. I think my friend Alfredo from Naples wants to do one with me, and my friend A in Thailand has agreed to do one with me, and maybe my child will do one with me, right?
I will try, but I don't be surprised if when I do that, I disappoint horrendously, because...
I wasn't talking about you.
Oh no.
I know, I'm teasing you.
Oh, maybe you can pit me and Nico against each other, and then the chat can decide who wins.
There you go. Well, we'll have to do that we could do that Iron Chef Sun versus Sun as one of our broadcasts one night. So I'm going to do something interesting with this is almost done. Oh, these look great. I'm going to do something different with the mushrooms, because what I want to do with the mushrooms is I want the big chunks, but I think it would be nice to have mushrooms that are also in smaller chunks. So I'm trying to keep down just a little bit. So I'm going to take the remaining mushrooms and I'm going to dice these really, really finely. Chop them first. One of the other things I'm thinking about, and if you guys want to start suggesting recipes for the holidays, I think it'll be really fun, at least once a week, to do a holiday cooking live on Cucina Quarantena. Like, one of the things I was thinking about is doing a little clinic on Swedish meatballs. If you guys would like to learn how to make those, that could be a fun Christmas time event. Now at this point, I'm kind of almost thinking, actually, I'm going to turn off the lentils because I think those are almost done. Let's see. No, they need just a touch more water. They're close, but maybe just a little bit more. Okay, and these mushrooms are going to start sweating, and when they start sweating, they're going to produce sauciness, but I think I may want to scrape up that fond before I'm ready to put in the vinegar. So what do you think I could use to scrape up that fond, Luca? There's lots of choices. What would you choose?
Typically it's sherry, right?
Actually, I have, if you want to do that, I've got some really mediocre wine.
Yay!
Wine that I just never finished drinking that's been sitting there. I'm going to go ahead and put some of that in here. Alright.
Then we can have a red wine sauce in it. And
see, look at that. See?
Rosé.
That's what's fun about doing this. I'm scraping up that fond with the wine. And the wine is great for scraping up fond because it sort of melts it almost. So I'll show you.
Imagine... And if you're suspicious about fond, which you should not be, imagine that fond as like beef roast drippings or like barbecue drippings.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, it is. It's like the thing that's on the bottom of the pan with where all the good sauciness is. See, now that wine, as it cooks off, has turned into some lovely sauciness. And so now we can just mix all of the vegetables into that sauciness. You can see already that the pumpkin is getting cooked through. I'm going to turn up the heat a little bit more. Oops. Yeah, the pumpkin actually is almost done.
Oh, look at it. You can tell that this is going to be good because the mushrooms are getting all shimmery with sauce.
Okay, so I think it's time to. Yeah. What does it need? It needs salt and pepper. I think we'll start with the pepper. Any questions, Luca?
There was Jerry Kurt asks. Them. Let's see. Jerry Kurt, is that? Never mind.
Okay. So salt.
Any questions? Ask them, chat. We need content here.
Well, we don't really need content because you and I are good at just like talking to each other, aren't we?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll get this.
Oh, here we are. Is All Clad a store or the brand of Chef Pan?
Good question. All Clad is a brand, and it's a brand that is out of, I think they're from Pennsylvania. And when I started collecting these, they were kind of a new thing. There had never been anything like super high quality cookware before. And they were the only people doing it at the time. There's a lot of rip-offs out there now, but I would highly recommend investing in something like this. They're not cheap, I will tell you that. A basic starter set starts at around $200 or $300, But this pan's older than you, Luca.
Oh,
And
wow.
It looks brand new. I got my first set of all clad in 1997, I think. So long time ago, 23 years ago, and most of it still looks like brand new. Okay.
Oh,
So,
can you buy them on the internet?
You can, and that's one of those things with that that I'm going to put onto my website. I'll put links to all of my favorite pan shapes, like what I think a good starter set is. So you guys, if you want to buy that stuff for Christmas for the people you love, I mean, I cannot suggest these more. What's cool about them is that they're stainless steel, and aluminum on the interior. And these handles, they don't get hot, but they weigh a lot. It's the only kind of downside. But man, they look like brand new, and they cook so evenly that I'm completely spoiled. When I was traveling this summer, and I was staying in houses that were not mine and using cookware that was not mine, it just was really hard. Because I miss my good cookware. I get really spoiled with this stuff. Okay, let's see what these are. Huh, these are about right. So these ones, just remember when you're cooking them, it's a little hard to figure out when they're quite done, but they're done when they've maybe almost doubled in size. But you don't want to cook them so much that they start disintegrating. Oh, I know what we're missing. Because this is Iron Chef, I am, of course, allowed to change my plan as I go. I didn't put any garlic in. That would be a travesty, wouldn't it, Luca?
Yep.
Oh, look at this cute little clove of garlic. This is from our garden.
Isn't it like 3 of them?
Yeah, tiny, tiny little cloves. Oh no, it's one ginormous one. Look at
No
that's from
way.
our garden. Can you believe it?
And that's so cool. I can't believe that Seattle can grow garlic.
Yeah,
I thought the only
actually-
thing that we could grow here was kale.
Well, now is the time to plant it, actually. You plant it now, and then it grows all winter. And then I separated them out. I think somebody just must have dumped whole heads of garlic in the garden last fall. And then I separated them out in just like maybe May into individual plants. And then we got a whole bunch of these sweet little garlic plants. Okay. So a little bit of fresh garlic at the end. I think adding fresh garlic at the end is actually great because it keeps its flavor. If you overcook garlic and you put it in too early, you never actually get the flavor. I probably use too much garlic in my cooking, actually. What do you think, Luca? Do I use too much garlic in my cooking?
No.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, there you go. That was the aroma I was working towards.
Oh my goodness.
All right.
Oh yeah. I don't think you can add too much garlic. Like, the more garlic, the better, pretty much without exception.
Okay, I'm going to try a little bit of this. Maybe just a little piece of pumpkin. Pumpkin's a good thing to try in this situation just because it has the most mild flavor. That's really good. Yep. All right. It doesn't need anything. And that's interesting because I have this on the stove just in case. This is from last night. This is, I cooked chicken in a can of tomatoes and onions and a bunch of other stuff, and I cooked it for like 4 or 5 hours. And this was the sauciness left, and I thought, if this didn't taste good enough, I would just take a scoop of this and put it in here. So just remember, anytime you make a stew, the leftover sauce, freeze it, because that right there is a flavor starter. So I'm going to put all of this into the freezer. And then the next time I make something that needs sort of like a bouillon kind of supercharge, I'll just put that in. Actually, I think I will put just a little bit of this in. Why not? Let's supercharge our flavor a little bit. Yeah. Okay. So I think we are ready to go. I'm gonna drain my lentils. How's it going with that?
It's going good. It's going good. And I am just excited for this because just look at that. I cannot wait to put it in my mouth.
All All right, and the lentils. Go ahead and mix it up, Ruth.
And then I might be taking over a little here on the cooking show, but for the people wondering why we used a different type of lentil and why you should just not use the store brand, the regular store brand variety, because look at that. Even as they're completely cooked, they still separate and don't turn into a mush. Even if I go like that, they're still individual.
Yep.
It's like couscous.
Yeah. All right. So.
That couscous that we had with the dish last night was so cool. It was like little tapioca bobas.
Yeah, we had Israeli couscous last night with our dinner. Only because I thought we had couscous, but we did not. But couscous is always good when you serve it with something saucy, because then the couscous just soaks up the sauce. It's better than rice or something like that. Okay, so this looks pretty much done. But wait, there's more. Oh, yeah, that needs salt. Ugh. Big time needs salt.
And remember, when adding salt, it is essential, but also, like, don't add too much. Okay, you know what? I think I've spent enough time commentating. I think that's her job.
You've over-commentated.
I've over-commentated. I'm a 16-year-old who has barely cooked a day in his life.
That's not true. I mean, you have cooked some. Okay, let's go.
Oh, here's a wonderful question from our friend Jerry Kurt. On your lentils, how much water do you use per cup of lentil?
I did about a little over 2 cups of water. So I put in 2 cups to start, and then that wasn't quite enough. So I added some more. Now here is the pièce de résistance. This is what makes this dish legendary for my children. This variation on there, that's probably too much butter. Who cares?
I'm gonna do a thing real quick.
Use more butter.
It's like that saying that my kindergarten teacher used to say. Sorry, everybody, for the camera moving too much, but I'm getting a little, actually, bowl
Big plate.
close.
We need a big plate.
Big plate?
Yeah.
Are you sure you don't want a bowl?
No, big.
Okay. But, my kindergarten teacher would always say, when in doubt, use more glue. And it's, when in doubt, use more butter.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the truth of it, isn't it? So, just a little tiny bit of salt. Oh, that butter smells really good. All right. Look at that butter. Look at that egg just floating around in that yummy butter. Yeah, I way over buttered that, but that's really fine. I'm just in the mood for who cares tonight. Life is short, eat the butter. So brown butter on our eggie. Oh, I can't flip it. Come on, flip for me. Flip.
Oh, it's folded into a little mini omelet.
It is. It's a cute little mini omelet. Flip, flip, flip. All right. I'm gonna flip that little eggie again. Over easy egg. So here's how you plate this dish. You get your scoop of lentils. You could, if you had something like arugula or sauteed greens or something, you could add that if you want a little color. Could use a little bit of color. It's a little uniform. But you put this on here, and then what makes it good is then you take your fried egg, which doesn't need to be fried in this much butter.
But you should do that because, once again, life is short, eat the butter.
Life is short, eat the butter. All right, Luca, grab your fork. You're going to have to be the guinea pig to tell people how this turned out. Okay. So there's our final product. So, lentils, squash, mushrooms, and...
Oh, look at that.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
That's what you want to get.
That's the warm lentil salad. And yeah, the runny egg, I think, is really key to this dish. It really makes it super good.
Ow.
All right. Luca's run off because it was too hot.
Oh my God.
All right, Boo. Come on. You have to tell people what you think.
I'm going.
All right. Mom's coming back in here to...
Okay, yeah, I think this is the best variation of this dish. This is, I think you've outdone yourself.
Here you go. So, a few thoughts. You could do a lot of variations. The original with this dish should be bacon, mushrooms, celery, carrot, and you saute that all up and then add that onto the lentils. But you can do pumpkin, you could do zucchini if you wanted to have it be a little brighter flavor. I wouldn't do tomatoes. I think that would kind of change the flavor. It would not do it any favors. But rutabagas, leeks, like just kind of use your imagination. But you always need your fattiness, like a bacon, and then you need sort of we didn't do the vinegar. That was the thing we forgot. But we did do the wine, and the wine worked okay. So you need your vinegary kind of thing. Oh, it's really good.
And really what this is all about is that you just have bacon, mushrooms, and some sort of vegetable. Yeah. You scrape up the fond, and you combine it with lentils, and that's what's going to make the dish.
Yeah, so there you go. That's Iron Chef for the night. Warm lentil salad with bacon, squash, and mushrooms with an egg on the top. So let's try and do this again. This was really fun. And if you guys want to get a jump start on the next Iron Chef, you can go ahead and start suggesting ingredients. And then we'll take a tally. And next week we'll do this again with whatever ingredients you come up with. And even if it's a crazy thing, I will give it a shot. So thank you all for watching, as usual. And buona serata from the Cucina Quarantena. Thank you to Luca for your cameramanship. And we'll see you again every day this week. We'll have something different going on. So ciao for now. Mwah.